We're going to take you through B2B lead generation and how to start getting those sales coming in and the pipeline coming in and how to build it. So let's kick off. So who are we and why do we have the authority and why do we think we have the authority to speak on lead generation? We are a specialist B2B agency dealing specifically with industrial, technical, fuel, manufacturing brands, services, and a big part of what we do is lead generation. I would say it really sets us apart, our lead generation offering. We are passionate about sales. We're also the number one ranked agency for SEO in South Africa and Africa. We've got offices all over the world. I'm based in Germany. Some of the team are in Pretoria, some are in Sandton, some sit in Cape Town in the US. We're all very passionate about one thing, and that's helping our clients grow. So I'm joined on the call today by Tyler, who's our lead generation specialist. Welcome, Tyler.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
Thank you, Tyler. I've got Nanga on the call as well, who's our senior digital strategist.
Good morning, everyone.
So you're welcome to pop any questions as we go in the chat. This is an engaging session and we definitely want you to be involved. Let's go very quickly. If I had to give you a one-step plan, what would that be? We are very passionate about you making change and about, I don't want you to leave this webinar and nothing changes. If you leave this webinar and nothing changes, you've just wasted an hour of your time. But if you leave this webinar and you apply one thing, your life has changed, your business has changed, and hopefully your sales are starting to improve. So we're going to go through all of these different steps that all pull together to make lead generation happen. Unfortunately, there is no silver bullet when it comes to lead generation. We find that it's a mix of multiple channels, putting multiple channels together that really creates an effective lead generation pipeline. And how do we know this? Because we as a business apply it in our own business. And we have anything from 5 to 10 inquiries coming through every single day, and filtering through those inquiries is a big part of what we do. So our sales pipeline is highly established, and it has been for many years. So we're just teaching you what we do at the end of the day. So let's look at understanding your B2B audiences. As you know, if you've attended one of our webinars, we spend a lot of time speaking about your target personas. If you've done some research on your customers, you need to understand who they are. You need to understand your audiences. If you're just coming at it from this is what I think, this is what I feel, or this is what my boss thinks, or the chairman, then, or the chairperson, then unfortunately what you're going to find is that it's skewed and driven by emotion. So most of our clients are trying to reach engineers. You're going to hear us constantly talking about engineers. So what we need you to do is to really get into the mind of your engineers. And the other people that usually make the decision in our clients' lives are procurement managers. Really understand your procurement managers. You get loyal procurement managers, and then you get procurement managers who are very much just about the finances and the numbers. So you need to understand your audiences. So unpacking them, engineers are not impressed by fluff. They respond to facts, technical depth, and credibility. So you need to start with understanding them. And we engage in a research phase with all of our clients. We send out surveys to their clients. We really need to deeply poll them. We have workshops trying to understand their audiences. So as a marketing manager, it's important that you spend time with your sales team and actually go out there to understand your customers. We've got this very cute little table that I'm a big fan of. I always say an Excel or a table solves all problems. If you would like, we've created a little downloadable where you can just sign up for that downloadable now. The team's going to share the link for you. And it's very simple. It's actually very simple. You just need to unpack your audiences. Please don't cluster them together. So your CEO of a mine needs their own row. The operations manager or director of a mine needs their own row. Don't cluster mining together and then just unpack the job titles, because each role has different goals. The procurement manager, the maintenance manager, they all have different goals, and you need to actually understand them. And then go out there and actually create a persona chart per persona and put that up on your wall. And everything that you do, I want you to target at one persona. And your lead gen is exactly the same. When you're doing lead generation, because we're digital first and tech first, you're able to really know who you're speaking to in 90% of the cases. You're able to really hone in on the needs of each audience member. So if you're trying to reach them, you need to know who you're trying to reach and what their main pain point is and how you solve that pain point. And it's that simple. But I cannot tell you how many times people go out there with broad-based shotgun, scattergun, sawn-off shotgun marketing where you're just spraying and praying. And then they wonder why lead generation doesn't work. So once you've identified them, you allocate your budget, you prioritize who do we really want to reach. And then you go out and you apply everything that we are doing in order to take them to the next level. Okay, I'm going to hand over to Tyler. Tyler, tell me why a website is important in lead generation.
Thanks, Dylan. Like Dylan, she introduced me. I'm the head of lead generation. I'm excited to chat to you guys and hopefully tell you some interesting info that you guys can take for your own businesses moving forward. We all know that engineers do a lot of research. That means, you need to be present across multiple entry points. But at the same time, you also don't want to spread yourself too thin. So basically that means you need to choose the channels where you can deliver the most credible content. If your website sucks, fix it first. Example, if you can't do high quality technical video, then maybe start with a short demo. When it comes to lead generation, the website is your starting point because absolutely all prospects will visit a website first to assess your business. I mean, I'm sure you've done it yourself. You're interested in a project, you visit the website. And if it's a crap website, you're definitely not going to go with that company. So with an effective website, your lead gen will be like pouring water into a bucket full of holes, guys. Okay, so it's all about optimization. You need to make your site optimized for all of the personas that Dylan mentioned in the previous slide. It's absolutely imperative. So the first thing we do when we sit with a new client is to review their website. Unfortunately, most B2B websites are woefully inadequate and a lot of them look homemade. They lack gravitas, which is super important, especially when marketing to people like engineers. So this is where a strong website strategy comes into play. So your website needs a clear content strategy, a great SEO and AI strategy, which we'll get into a bit more in a bit, great video strategy, email and automations as well, and then a lot of case studies. Your audience wants to see credibility, and case studies is a great way to show that. So here's some stats just to show us how important a strong strategy is. About 70% of buyers frequently watch work-related videos, and about 90% subscribe to at least one email newsletter. So that shows you the power of email as well. Okay, so engineers are nearly twice as likely to view a strong website as an indicator of credibility rather than a trade show sponsorship. So that's just something to keep in mind. Your website is key, guys. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your search and AI strategy, as it has become super important in today's day and age. With the latest boom in AI, it has become really important. So most of your customers are asking AI to create shortlists for them. Give me a list of the top 5 industrial companies. So, if your site isn't optimized for AI, you're not going to stand a chance. Many people use AI instead of Google these days. I mean, you can see 58% of technical buyers use AI during the purchasing process. And then 43% of engineers say they'll filter through at least 5 pages of search results to find their needed information. So your audience is super thorough. So you need to be where they're looking, guys. All right. So how did we become the #1 ranked agency in South Africa and Africa for search and AI? And we'll get into that, but it's crazy important. AI is taking over. We need to be visible in those areas. So from this graph, you can see that AI referrals have exploded in recent times. In the last few years with ChatGPT and Gemini, it's just exponentially exploded. So how do we rank for AI? I'm not going to explain each of these in detail for you guys. You can go to ChatGPT and it will assist you with a plan for each. In short, you need to audit your website. You need to audit your current SEO and AI rankings. You need to create a strong keyword strategy. You need a great website content rollout plan. You need to optimize your existing page on your website. You need a rollout plan for your thought leadership content. You need to backlink and have an authority plan. And then importantly, you need to implement, test, report, and then optimize constantly. You can't just do it one and done. It needs to be an ongoing process. All right, so I'm going to hand over to Nanga, and he's going to chat to us a little bit about how content supports the sales process.
Awesome. Thank you, Ty. Thanks, everyone. So we'll just dive in a little bit deep into why content supports sales and why it's super important. As Dill mentioned earlier on, your content really needs to speak to your audiences, right? The different personas you have, the different audiences. Once you've identified that within the research phase, that allows you to further segment and build out a content strategy that speaks to each individual person. And I think we can all attest to this. Everyone likes, I think not everyone likes to, but when you are engaging with different people, people will take and will make decisions based on different reasons. One of the most important things that we've picked up is that engineers and B2B buyers are looking at content and third-party reviews before buying. One of the stats are that 66% of technical buyers believe that product reviews are most valuable. So those are stuff that when we speak with clients, heavily important to include part of our content strategy. And so with that being said, you should let your engineering staff create content. And you pretty much want to just interview them, right? You want to get, what I like to say to clients is you want to get it from the horse's mouth. And most people, I think we buy from people, we don't buy from businesses. And so when you are including people and directly the people that are working and that are going to be your direct partners, those are the people you want to hear from. Let's dive into how they buy, how this B2B audience buys. Again, most previous traditional funnels were that somebody would just do a bit of research and then put in their contact details and then make a phone call. However, we've dissected over the last couple of years that it's a bit more intricate than that, right? So a lot of people will do their research, right? They'll go to the supplier's website, they'll look at technical publications, they'll see where they've ranked and kind of get an understanding of the business and what they offer. This is the most important next step that we've seen, is that people actually take action by looking at what content do they post, not just what the business posts, but what they actual C-suite executives and what we like to call thought leadership content is about. And this is data sheets, these are technical articles, white papers, podcasts as well. Then what an individual do is then obviously take that back to their committee, and that could be their procurement team, that could be whoever's in the managerial position to actually make that decision, but they'll take all of that research and finding back to them before they make that decision. And then they'll obviously take action and then look at repurchasing. And that bridge is the new age of digital, like Dylan mentioned, is that prior people do research straight through to the committee, when now content is a real big player. So with that being said, what we always advise our clients is a key differentiator in anyone's B2B content strategy right now is thought leadership, is how active are your executives on LinkedIn and or through press and other publications. But as you can see, this little stat here, 68% of B2B executives have increased their consumption of thought leadership, right? Like I said earlier on, people are buying from people, not from businesses. So how are we not only getting our business out there, but how are we getting our leaders, the guys that are actually on the forefront of the company, out there and getting them familiar with our potential buyers? So that's something that I think everyone should look to include, and something that I'd like to put to you guys as a seed drop to factor in. And so as we see here, this is an example of how content supports your audiences through the buying journey. Obviously, this is a marketing funnel. You've got awareness, consideration, decision, and retention. What you'll notice, something very specific on this, is that the content never stops getting produced. It only gets more refined by the stages of the journey that they go in. So top of funnel, you're creating your videos, your podcasts, the very nice and fluffy content that brings people in. But once they take action, they go to the website, and like Tyler said, this your website needs to be optimized. You then can put ebooks and so forth to capture information. So that's still another form of content. Then once they've made the decision and got in touch with you, you can send them a pitch deck and or proposals and or competitive analysis. So never stop creating content, but ideate on what type of content makes sense for each individual customer at the different parts of their funnel. Something I mentioned again, and I just want to reiterate because it's very important, thought leadership is non-negotiable. Just another stat, 99% of senior executives now consider thought leadership as crucial for evaluating potential advisors. So again, just wanted to harp on that and double down on that, because really how we've grown Shift One as well, not alongside our SEO strategies and our content strategies to boost our website rankings, but actually positioning Dylan as a thought leader in the marketing realm. Some of you guys might have come through, Shift One's emailers, but you also might have come through from Dylan. Why? Because we've also positioned her as a thought leader in the marketing space, and that's helped us increase our ranking and obviously our engagement with our audience. And so
I just want to interrupt you, Nanga, and just let everybody know that it was you who got me on the whole thought leadership bandwidth. You were like, no, you've got to be the Gary V of South Africa. And thanks to you. We started that journey years ago.
2017.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was just something that I personally saw, and I think we took to heart, and we executed really well, right? Again, not to harp on it too much, and we will have a Q&A towards the end of the session, but as we moved into the content space, it was very imperative that I said to Dylan, listen, I think, yes, the business will grow, but people buy from people. And so if we position you as that person, people will love you, resonate with you, actually want to hear your thoughts, and it should escalate it and grow into something more than that. And like we've seen over the years, we started then and it's paying off now. So I'm glad we did. And I think there's no time not to stop, but I think advise your C-suite team to definitely take action on that. And so with that being said, on the content side, guys, we will do a Q&A towards the end, but the key takeaways here is that content must be deep, credible, and technical, and not very salesy. Engineer scan for evidence, case studies, and performance numbers, and the generic content just doesn't work anymore. So I'm going to hand over back to Dylan to talk about the trade shows and how that's a big key factor in our lead gen funnels.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And just on the content, some of the examples you saw on the screen were just of how we, very practically speaking, create a theme for our clients for the month. We get the relevant subject matter expert up, we interview them, we create a video of them speaking, we write an article, we do a webinar. And so it's quite nice packaging it. It just gives you a bit of structure for the month. And that's something that we love to do with our clients. So I want to talk about trade shows and events and experiences because it's a big part of our B2B clients, going out there, and how do you optimize a trade show? How do you make trade shows work for you? So I think just to set the scene, engineers still want to kick the tires. They want to walk around. They want to test. They are very, very analytical and critical. And so they do love trade shows and they do love events and customer experiences. It has to be a pivotal part of your strategy. But many, many, many companies don't know how to make them profitable. So how do you make a trade show work for you so that you can say, actually, we got clients from it? I went to a massive event the other day here in Germany with 200,000, 400,000 attendees. It was monster. And I engaged with a few of the trade show stands and the exhibitions, and I received emails from half of them. Half of them emailed me, and they only emailed me once, and that was it. So a big part of what we live and breathe for is to help our clients automate a lot of the sales process so that these leads are not lost, that there's follow up, that we don't rely on human beings, but as marketers, we control the sales and we empower our sales team with technology so that none of these leads fall through the cracks. So it's about creating the right event strategy and making sure you have the right approach and the right technology, of the right messaging, that you're clear on what you're talking about and what you're doing. At the event, you got to have demonstrations. You've got to have engineers at the event so that they can speak technically with the audiences that are visiting. 90% of the people are there just to get free promo gifts, but 10% of the people are actually looking for solutions. Your stand, if I walk past your stand, it has to appeal to me. It has to draw me in and not be intimidating. Many stands are very intimidating and you feel like you can't actually go in there because it's a little click and it's very closed off looking. Everybody's doing popcorn. Everybody's doing free pens. Most of your brochures end up in the bin. What can you do that's different, that makes you memorable, that makes you pop? Your stand must pop. Your people must pop. Everything needs to work together. So that's really, really key. And then harvesting all the data. So not only have we pre-notified everybody that we can, our entire leads list and prospects list and existing customers and lapsed customers, that the event is happening and inviting them there. Now we actually follow up with post-event. So drip mailers and auto mailers and sending things out and automated booking of appointments and lead follow-up, all of this stuff the technology continues to work to support the whole process. Your remarketing is working. I know who's visited my website, they're seeing my ads, and then continuous analysis so that the event, when it stops, we don't stop working and we're continuously analyzing the effectiveness of that event months later. And that's how you get your ROI from your events. Here, Tyler, do you want to talk to this to trade show some stats?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Dylan. 81% of engineers say face-to-face interaction with technical staff is the most valuable part of the trade show. Like Dylan said, they like to kick the tires. So, a physical interaction is still important, not just, the digital aspect of things. Then 55% of engineering attendees go to learn about new technology, and 49% solve a technical challenge. So your audience is always trying to learn about new technology, and they're super technical. And then lastly, 27% are influenced by flashy giveaways or gimmicks. So it's quite a low percentage. You don't want that to be the main draw card of, just giving something away. You want to provide value, especially to the engineering crowd, and eventually you'll convert from that. So it's not just about gimmicks and giveaways. So we've reached another main reason why you're all here, and that is B2B lead generation campaigns. All right, so let's chat a little bit about your lead gen strategy. It all starts with using the correct touch points. So LinkedIn, as I'm sure you all know, is your top channel for B2B social lead generation. And we've seen some great results when using email and targeted ads. Then email is your top channel for general B2B lead generation, provided that your offer is irresistible and your deliverability is clean. So one thing to mention on email is, you can't just start and immediately send out an email to thousands of your clients. You're going to land in spam from word go. We've invested a whole lot of money in having an email system that allows, bulk email to land inside the inbox. If you have a strong message, a strong offer, and your prospect doesn't see it because it's in spam, you've wasted your time. So that's super important. But in the end, we see the best performance when all of these things are used together with paid ads in one ecosystem. All right, so account-based marketing, or ABM, is super key in today's day and age. It's all about targeting the audience of one. So like Ananga mentioned earlier, we sell to people, not to businesses. So in other words, you need to target specific people rather than broad segments, like a shotgun approach, like Dylan also mentioned. So for example, if someone's connected with you and has been liking and commenting on your LinkedIn posts for some time, aren't you more likely to take up an offer from them rather than a random person who you've never interacted with? Super key today. Creating digital campaigns, all about using an omni-channel strategy. We've seen that works incredibly well. One channel is it's not enough, guys. Some stats on that, prospects have shown us that they only convert after encountering some touch points across at least 3 to 4 channels. So it's really important to be visible everywhere. All right, so let's talk about the actual channels that we use in B2B lead gen. So here we have the various campaigns that you can run, as well as the sales follow-up that comes with them. The second part, the sales follow-up, is so important. And, a lot of marketing companies just do the first part and they leave the sales team to fend for themselves. We do both. It's more of a holistic approach. So yeah, it's important to mix channels together to get sales and drive your lead gen. So it's important that we work closely with our client sales teams. We've got to understand their challenges and create solutions to support them. And, in the end, it's ultimately going to improve their sales. All right. So with lead gen, if you don't have tracking in place, we're going to be shooting in the dark, and, you're pretty much wasting your time and your money. You're going to need to track in order to make your data-driven decisions and also to optimize our campaigns. So in order to do this, it is imperative that you have the correct tool to support your lead generation. So we use an all-in-one platform that allows us to track. It gives us stats for our tracking stats, reporting, analytics, and get some really cool insights from a tool like this. There's a bit of a demo for you, an example of the tool. Then automation in today's day and age has had a major boom, and it's super important, to take out the donkey work and also boost your sales in the end. So we use this tool, Dylan also mentioned earlier, to send out automated email sequences for each type of inquiry from a website. So it has, different automated replies for each type of product or service inquiry. That gives a bit of a personalized approach to the email marketing. And then, like I said, it's great for boosting sales rates because, you're constantly contacting your prospects, and it eliminates the human error of your team, forgetting to follow up, etc. So that's the power of automations using this tool. And then finally, to support the sales team, this tool has a section where you can track the customer life cycle and see where they are in their purchasing journey which, further supports the sales team and helps them take the relevant action where needed. All right, so I'm going to hand back over to Dylan, and he's going to take us through some cool case studies and some findings. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Tyler. So yeah, the proof is in the pudding. Can we show you effectively how this has worked? So we had an energy brand come to us, and they were looking to do lead generation for an event. And so understanding their audiences, doing the research is key. So we created an omni-channel campaign strategy with a very strong focus to lead generation and appointment setting, because the measurement of success is how many appointments are we setting at the event. So we created a mix of channels. So we created a high-performing landing page with very special offers on it and the ability appointments set from the landing page. We set up Google search ads for the event. So if you were typing in the event name, we came up and it drove to our landing page. And the landing page had all kinds of information about the event, plus meeting us and why to meet us. We set up YouTube ads, meta ads, and we had mass cold email outreach. So we were able to pull databases of their target prospects that they weren't dealing with. We used their lapse databases. We used their current client databases. We used a structured funnel approach. Those who are cold got slightly different messaging to those who have engaged before and to those who are actually clients. And using the whole funnel, we drove people down to the landing page. So what were the results at the end of the day? We had 68 appointments in a 3-week campaign, nearly 50,000 landing page visits, 443% uplift to website, a return on ad spend of 5.6, which means you put in every $1 you put in, you got 5.6 out, and a return on marketing investment of 460%, which means that the campaign returned 460% on the marketing spend. So another quick case study. So also a manufacturing electrical brand approached us to push a new product that was going live based on regulation. Again, we created a landing page, LinkedIn ads, email marketing, social media, Google ads. So within the initial 7 weeks, we generated 72 high quality MQL marketing qualified leads from industries including mining, power, engineering, manufacturing. So 36 from LinkedIn, 24 from Google ads. And the campaign continued to run with massive financial benefit. Nanga, do you have time to talk us through the action plan?
Yeah, I do. Before I step away, thank you for bringing me back. So yeah, thanks, Phil. Those case studies are very prevalent, because I think if you really understand or taken anything away from this lead gen webinar workshop, is that every part of the funnel really plays a factor in how somebody converts. And I guess what I'm about to show you now is an actionable roadmap and plan on how to develop your lead gen strategy overall, whether it's for the year, whether it's for 1 month. It takes almost the same approach. So we like to work on a 6-month basis with our clients, 12 months actually, but this is a 6-month roadmap that I'm going to share with you. All the different channels are what we need to focus on, and they all move in order, right? So starting off, as we mentioned earlier, research is highly important, because without understanding the personas, we won't know who we're talking to, how we should communicate with them, and what channels they like to be engaged with on. So in month 1, I'd advise you to go into the research phase, spend those full 30 days actually really deep diving and understanding that audience. Once you can also start plotting out content. A lot easier would be, static images and or articles, downloadables, white papers, etc. Building out what the content plan will look like and establishing a bit of content at the beginning. And then also looking at your website, as Tyler mentioned earlier, right? Your website is highly key to all of this, because that's where we're driving the traffic to. So in month 1, it's also just looking at the website, seeing if the funnel is good, the user experience is great, is it clicking through to the right pages? So all of that in month 1 should be done, right? That's the heavy groundwork. Once that's all done, from month 2 onwards, we can look at further establishing our content and building and adding to that, as well as starting to look at optimizing for our SEO, right? As website and SEO go hand in hand, because that's how far our website ranks up on Google, but also what is the content that's on that website that's increasing it. So once we've understood and looked at the website, we can start jumping into SEO, optimizing our website, creating content around that, and start looking at an organic growth approach from there. And then also looking into our ABM, right? As Tyler mentioned earlier on our account-based marketing, looking at how can we support our sales team and how do we target these individual salespeople without spending money upfront, but then also looking at effect of implementing implementing other lead gen approaches like the paid advertising and so forth from month 2, once our funnel at the bottom is set. Then from there, we look at adding in videos, and that's more where the thought leadership comes in. So if you're looking at the funnel, you want to make sure that the website's all great, we've got the content, we know who we're talking to, boom. We're then going to optimizing our website so we can build on our SEO, start driving traffic through to that website, and start growing our presence from a business perspective. And then fourth, when we're looking at videos, yes, not only are we creating videos for the business and the services we want to push, but also looking at it from a thought leadership perspective, because like I mentioned earlier on, right, people buy from people. So if we're creating video content, that's highly engaging and will really give us the best results when it comes to content. And from there onwards, from month 3 or month 4, right, the funnel's kind of figured itself out. It's very fixed. It's moving great. And now we have results and data to work from. And then from there, it becomes a matter of measuring, testing, and optimizing from month 3 to month 4 going forward. Monitor that over the 6-month period and then revise it from there. Then you'll see from there, okay, we've got 6 months worth of data. What do we need to remove, include, and or add to our funnel approach? So merely this isn't the exact plan that you need to use, but this should give you a very good understanding and an actionable plan of how you can go about creating your lead gen funnel and approach.
Thank you, Nanga.
So, Dol, I'm going to hand back to you in closing. I don't know if you have anything else you want to mention from there, but
yes.
I think, with this action plan, it should give some guidance.
Thank you. As a marketing manager, I worked for brands that had money and I worked for brands that didn't have money. And I worked for brands where I had resources and then sometimes it was just me and I had to do everything myself. So I'm not sure if you are sitting here and you're like, I don't have an agency, it's just me. What do I do first? So if you are, constrained with resources or budget, I think I would focus on SEO, because SEO, once you've optimized a page and it becomes the best page in the world on the topic, or at least the best page of your competitors, Google will honor you by putting that page on position 1, page 1, position 1. So if you know how to create good SEO and getting your SEO sorted out on your website, it opens the funnel for you on those, on whatever the keywords are that you're targeting. So I would say invest in SEO. And then, a lot of our clients call us, or we get a lot of inquiries. I think, with the recession, a lot of businesses are struggling and they all want lead generation. But lead generation doesn't operate in a vacuum, just like Nanga said. Lead generation works very closely with trust-based content. Trust-based content is key. So you can't ignore your content creation, your social media content, and trying to get your subject matter experts to be active on LinkedIn can be a real pain, especially the executives that don't want to be active. So a key part of what we do is working with our clients, working with their sales team, teaching and training them on how to do social selling on LinkedIn, because everybody has to pitch in. And if everyone's beating you with a stick, I would say that's not fair. Everyone has a role to play, because Nanga has said it a few times, people buy from people. So we have kept this webinar as tight as possible. So I'm going to open the floor to some questions. Just in closing quickly, B2B audiences are self-researchers and you have to meet them where they are. The marketing to engineers is different to marketing in B2C. B2C is completely different to B2B. B2B is far more complex. So it's not impossible to reach engineers. You just have to build trust, deliver value, and win them, because they are very, very technical. Are there any questions that you haven't asked us, given that you've already been chatting on the groups? Is there anything that you would like to raise? You're also welcome at any point to drop a comment on one of our social channels, follow me on LinkedIn, and message me directly there. We can also reach out to you as well with any questions that you might have. Here is a link to all of our socials, and do give us a follow. That would be very, very, very much appreciated. And then you will be able to see our content. Kylie asked, what would be the best advice when it comes to account-based marketing? So account-based marketing starts with identifying your prospects. So exactly who you want to target. So it's about not being broad and vague. We want to reach mining managers. It's about knowing these 25 mines. I want to reach these operations managers, these procurement managers, and these maintenance managers at these mines. And you have their names, and everybody has a single view of who we are going for, and everybody signs that off. So all the decision makers have signed that off. And then you using our great technology, we're able to pull lists of who these people are. We can get their phone numbers. We have our cold calling team calling them. We're sending out emails to warm them up. We're sending out great value ads, white papers, downloadables that are targeted at each one of them that makes their lives easier. We use remarketing so that when they do visit your website, we can hit them again with remarketing banners when they are visiting other websites. So we're able to reach them again. Tyler, I could see you want to say something.
No, also something I mentioned earlier is, something called social selling, which forms part of ABM, is where your team actually personally connects with these people you're trying to target and, comments, likes their content, connects with them. I know me personally, if I get a new connection and they like my things, I immediately have kind of a positive stigma towards that person. So, it all contributes in the end to when you eventually trying to convert them.
Right.
So that's definitely a big
Exactly.
part.
And then invite them to a VIP event, invite them to something exclusive where they get to, meet the engineers on your team. They have a Q&A session, make them feel special. And obviously your sales team supporting them and reaching out to them and starting to schmooze them and having that face-to-face, because Tyler said people buy from people. You want to create a relationship with people. And that's, I think that's important to do. So speaking about webinars, Raymond, you referenced previous webinars. Is there a link? Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to ask the team to share a link to our YouTube channel where we've got all of our past webinars saved, or our webinar landing page where we have all our past webinar videos pulled into one handy place. Also, we have a lot of downloadables. So I'm also going to ask the team to share the link to all of our downloadables because we're trying to make your life easier. We've got some very specific how-to guides on how to market industrial products, marketing to engineers, and a lot of other amazing things. So you can just QR code scan that now, or you can use the link which will be provided in the chat to our downloadables landing page. And definitely feel free to reach out to us with any other questions that you might have. We are here to help you succeed. We teach what we do every single day. So this is what we eat, live, sleep, and breathe. And yeah, starting properly with research and getting the right strategy means that you close on the right results. If you just start doing without the research in place, you can end up going off track and spending a lot of money on the wrong things. And then everybody's upset and says, lead generation doesn't work. We tried it before and it didn't work. And my question is always, why didn't it work? Who did you target? When did you message them? What did you message them? How did you message them? Why did it not work? Let's unpack that. So don't just take it if somebody says, no, we tried that and that didn't work. Well, show me why. Okay, team, I just want to thank my presenters, to Tyler and to Nanga, who's had to hop off. I want to thank everybody who's been on the call, and please do reach out if you need help with anything. We also do training, so you can actually reach out if you want training for your sales teams on social selling, if you want training on how to do account-based marketing or how to set up your lead gen. We also available to coach and consult and execute it for you if that is what you need. Thank you, everybody, and we wish you a fantastic day. Be warm and well fed and go out there and prosper.
Amazing. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining.